What is an out-of-body experience in your definition, and have you ever had it?
The short answer is yes. It's basically a tool to remove your soul out of your physical body. Everything is coming from the soul because the soul is connected to the source. The soul is an energy that works on frequencies that can travel anywhere.
When was the first time it happened to you? What was the context? What was it like?
There's many ways of doing it. In my case, there are certain words you have to say. You have to repeat them very fast, loud, or in your mind, many times. Your body eventually will go into a sleep mode, and then the soul can slowly come out. When you become an expert, you can do it in seconds.
Are you able to share those words? Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Ray. In this episode, we're going to be discussing out-of-body experiences, the difference between an out-of-body experience and what they call an exit, because there is a difference between the two, almost like teleportation in certain ways, but we'll speak about that. And we're also going to be covering the silver cord phenomenon that many people speak about in detail. First and foremost, Ray, I want to say thank you for being here with me again.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's dive right in. Me and you have had extensive conversations about out-of-body experiences. Rays of Light speaks about the difference between an out-of-body experience and an exit. But for anybody who doesn't understand this topic yet, I just want to preface by asking you, what is an out-of-body experience in your definition, and have you ever had one?
The short answer is yes. It's basically a vehicle or a tool for you to remove your soul out of your physical body.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes, but there are questions in terms of what that actually means, because when you're in your physical body, you have two eyes. You have certain instruments that we call body parts to be able to feel and see and hear. If you leave your body with your consciousness or your awareness or your soul, whatever you want to call it, are you still able to see and hear? And if so, how without those instruments?
Okay. First of all, we have to establish that most people in the world, unfortunately today, do not believe that a soul exists. They think they are a body that will eventually die. A lot of them don't believe in reincarnation either, even though every religion believes in reincarnation.
I would argue that I agree with what you're saying, that most people don't believe it. They do. They just don't understand that they believe it because they call it something else. I actually wrote about this in my first book. I call it the terminology crisis. People say, we don't believe in God. Well, you do. You just call it something else. So an atheist, there's still something that created something with some form of intelligent design, because even in what you call random or chaotic, there is an order to chaos. So I understand what you're saying. I'm just going a level deeper. Reincarnation is proven by the law of conservation of energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. The soul is a triggering word for some because they go to it, they say, oh, spirituality, it's a bunch of nonsense. But the soul is really just another word for the energy that animates your body.
Well, if you believe in reincarnation, you have to believe that the soul exists. Because a body cannot reincarnate. Only a soul can reincarnate.
I agree with you. All I'm saying is, and then we'll keep going, but all I'm saying is the people that you're referring to, which is most of the world that say it's a bunch of nonsense and BS, actually do believe it. They just don't understand that they believe it because they call it something else. And I guess because of the limitations in their own awareness, they say it's nonsense.
I don't agree with you. There's a lot of atheists in this world that I've spoken to and try to understand them. Again, the short answer is they're dumb. You have to be a very stupid individual to say, I'm an atheist, because the proof is out there. It's in front of you. And if you fail to understand and see it, you might as well reincarnate and not come back, as far as I'm concerned. Because those people, I give up. I just give up.
Let's keep going. Let's go into out-of-body experiences for a second. So we've established that it's the soul, the consciousness, the awareness of the individual that is eternal.
No. The soul, not consciousness. No. It's only the soul as a way of leaving the body. Your consciousness stays within your brain.
I don't understand that.
You have a soul and you have a body. The body is the home for the soul, as long as you are on this earth. In the body, you have organs, a brain, heart, kidneys. Consciousness is being stored inside your brain.
But it's coming from the soul.
Everything is coming from the soul. Because the soul is connected to the source.
Why are you differentiating between consciousness and soul?
Because it's two different things. The consciousness stays within your brain. That's where it resides. The soul resides inside your body, and it can reside outside of your body. If you die tomorrow, consciousness is gone. You agree? There is no more brain.
Okay.
The soul continues. The soul knows everything and remembers everything that you don't.
How would you define soul then?
Your body is the physical body that houses the soul. The soul is an energy that works on frequencies and all kinds of other stuff that can travel anywhere. The soul wants to, and it always, not always, but in most cases, is being reincarnated until you get to a point where reincarnation is no longer necessary. Remember, you are reincarnating over and over again in order to do your tikkun. We spoke about this many times. A person who knows how to do an out-of-body experience, it doesn't come out of nowhere. You have to learn it. Somebody has to show you the way of how to do it.
But there are individuals in the world who know how to do it that didn't have a teacher.
No.
But I'm telling you, there are individuals who do it who have never had a teacher.
There's no such a thing.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying you got to be taught. Now, teaching has to be done. In my case, for example, I had a physical human being who showed me the way, and I was very aware of what was going on, and I understood what he was trying to show me. Somebody who knows how to do it the right way can teach you without you being aware that you're being taught, and you can create a position of an out-of-body experience. And you're going to think, oh, it just came to me out of nowhere.
So you're saying that it's possible that individuals that had it almost come out of nowhere had help from somewhere to help activate that within themselves.
Always. They think it came out of nowhere, but there's no such a thing.
Let's go to your experience for a second. When was the first time it happened to you? What was the context? What was it like?
The first time it happened to me, I think, was in 2011. I don't remember exactly when, but it was an ongoing process. In the beginning, I was watching. There are certain words you have to say. There's many ways of doing it. In my case, I had to learn certain words. You have to repeat them very fast. Loud, or in your mind. You don't have to do it out loud if you don't want to. But you have to repeat it fast. Many, many times. Your body eventually will go into a sleep mode. And then the soul can slowly come out. When you become an expert, you could do it in seconds.
So in your case, when you were learning, or if you want to do it today, would you consider yourself an expert?
No, but I'm pretty good at it.
How long did it take you to get pretty good at it?
It took me about 8 months to be independent.
How frequent were you practicing?
Almost daily.
Now you're saying in your case, you have to say certain words. Are there other methods that you're aware of? I'm sure there are many, but are there other methods that you're aware of how to induce an out-of-body experience?
Well, when I started, I had to do it laying down. I saw people who were doing it standing up while they were praying. Certain prayers. Up to today, if I want to do it standing up, I can't. I have to either sit down or lay down, and then create what I want to create. There are people who can do it underwater. There are people who could do it standing, like I said, but it's not about your physical position. It's about what you do. You can say certain words. You can say a prayer. You can plug in certain frequencies to certain machines that can help you do it. I've never done that. I was taught in a different way, but there are a few methods to do it.
Are you able to share those words?
No.
Why?
I'm not going to share it, but if you're going to speak to a rabbi who is a Kabbalist, he will probably know all of those words.
All of them?
A rabbi who's a Kabbalist? Yes.
Why rabbi and not, priest or monk?
Because the words I'm using are in Hebrew.
But there are other words in other languages that can be used as well.
Yes, but a monk is not going to use the Hebrew language. He's going to use whatever he was taught through.
So you're just referring to the way that you were taught and what you know?
Yes.
But any language, including English, is it possible if you have the right words that emit the proper frequencies to induce an out-of-body experience?
I don't think you could do it in English.
Why?
The English language has no soul. I don't know how to explain it. It's just the language. But if you take Hebrew, if you take Chinese.
Chinese?
Yes. I've never seen it done in English. Maybe it could be done and I'm wrong. I'm not going to swear on it, but I don't think you can do it in English.
There's a place called the Monroe Institute in Virginia. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it, but it's called the Monroe Institute in Virginia. It's actually very close to the CIA headquarters. To my understanding, individuals from the CIA are sent there to learn how to do out-of-body experiences. I could tell you for a fact they do use the English language. I forgot who actually started it. I believe his last name was Monroe. The reason why I know about it was through a friend, but I also read a book called Adventures Beyond the Body. And I'm forgetting who wrote it. I think his name was William something. And I read it, and I tried practicing it, and I had certain experiences through the practices that were shared, in this case, visualization practices, and then certain things to say when you're in the experience. And I could tell you on a personal level, I haven't experienced it to a great degree, but I did get to the point of feeling this very loud noise within my own head, which the book explained. You will hear a very loud noise, almost like a very loud vibration or sound that may sound scary. Don't be scared. That's the process of separating between the body and the soul. Does that sound right to you?
What you're describing is self-hypnosis. That's what the CIA is using. They're using hypnosis in order to reach their agenda, their target, whatever it is. I don't know about the Monroe Institute, but I can tell you, down in the basement, one of the very lower floors of the Pentagon, as you know, the Pentagon is not what you see. It's many floors underneath. They have a special unit in order to teach agents how to use hypnosis to get their target. I call it brainwashing.
But these individuals are able to go project their consciousness in this case.
They cannot. It's all a bunch of bullshit. They have no clue. Especially the CIA.
You're telling me there's nobody in the CIA that's able to do this?
To do an out-of-body experience, a real one, maybe there is, but he is not one of them if he is. He is a mole on the inside.
Okay, there's something called remote viewing. What's the difference between remote viewing and out-of-body experiences?
Totally different. Remote viewing. A person could sit in China and scan your body and give you details about your body and about your well-being while talking to you over the phone, not even on Zoom, without seeing you. This is not an out-of-body experience. There are people who have the talent and the skills to do a remote view, but this is not an out-of-body experience.
So you're saying there's a clear difference between remote viewing and out-of-body experience?
Absolutely.
Can you clarify the difference for anybody watching?
It's not easy to explain, but basically, an out-of-body experience, you are basically putting your body into REM mode. You're going to sleep. As a matter of fact, when you do an out-of-body experience, and you are in bed, let's say, while you're doing an out-of-body experience, if somebody walks into the room, they're going to think you died.
You don't have a pulse?
No, I don't have a pulse for you. If you're going to check my pulse, or if a doctor comes in, he will declare me dead.
How does the body survive?
That's the greatness of an out-of-body experience.
Let's go back to your first-hand experience with it. So, number one, when you experienced it for the first time, I understand you had a teacher and whatnot. What was the experience like? What did you see? How was it?
You're asking about details I'm not prepared to talk about, but basically, you start slow, meaning your first out-of-body experience would be, let's call it, flying low, meaning you're in a room. You're going to come out of your body. The most you're going to reach is the ceiling, and you'd be able to watch and scan the room and see yourself sleeping. Later on, you could get out of the structure that you are in and move on to higher levels, and higher levels, and higher levels, and then you could basically travel within the planet.
Is there a danger to out-of-body experiences?
There's a danger to everything you do, if you play by the rules. No, if you don't play by the rules, you could get hurt.
What are the rules?
I can tell you from my own personal experience, when I did things I wasn't supposed to do, I got hurt.
Can you give me an example of one or two rules?
Number one, you don't do it because you're curious. Number two, you don't do it because it's fun. You do it because there's a purpose behind it. It could be a mission I was given, or trying to help somebody, or trying to scan somebody throughout, or whatever it is. It's hard for me to discuss it, because you're asking me to give you examples of myself, which I don't think I'm ready to discuss. But I did certain mistakes, and I did get hurt. I physically got hurt.
In what way?
You wanted to talk about the silver cord, so why don't we speak about it first? It will be easier for me to explain myself.
Okay, let's talk about the silver cord. What is it?
subscribe.